I'd like to talk about CN and the keyboard buffer for a second. I have a program here where whole is an fractional is a double, and letter is a char, and I'm going to ask the user to enter an integer, a double, and a char in that order. Notice the order of the variables here. So let's suppose I enter 1 and a space and 2.3 and a space and a capital A. Now remember, CN will take the 1 and put it in whole, and CN will skip the white space and then put 2.3 into fractional, skip the white space, and put A in the letter. It'll display whole 1, fractional 2.3, and letter as A. But what would happen if I didn't enter 1, 2.3, and A, if I inadvertently entered 1.2, 3, and A? And there's a space between the 1.2 and there's a space between the 3 and the A. Okay, so what happens? Well, remember, CN doesn't read white space, and remember we have this thing called the keyboard buffer. It's a temporary holding place for things that we type in just before they go into RAM. So if I enter 1.2 space 3 space and A, 1 goes into whole, and then the pointer in the keyboard buffer will take the 0.2 and put it into fractional, and then CN will skip the white space here. It'll then take the 3 and treat it as a char and put it into letter, and then it'll say whole 1, fractional 0.2, and letter would be 3. So your output would look like this. Now there's a little problem here. It won't come up in this program, but A is still in the keyboard buffer. Well, let's take a look at what could happen. Let's suppose that I added another variable, letter 2, and it's a char, and the code is basically pretty much the same, except I added a cout that says enter another char, and I want the computer to allow me to enter another character, and it would go into letter 2. So here's what will happen. Whole is going to go ahead and get 1, fractional is going to get 0.2, letter is going to get 3. The A is still in the keyboard buffer. It'll display 1, 0.2, and 3, and then it will display this on the screen, but the computer will not stop and wait for me to respond to that prompt. It'll take the A that's still in the keyboard buffer and dump it into letter 2. It'll dump it into letter 2, and then the computer will say the next char is A. So it'll actually take that A that was just hanging around in the keyboard buffer, and it will respond to this prompt with that A, and then it will display it.